Hi everyone, I just want to make a quick video. I don't feel very well, but I'm going to do my best. I need to give you guys an update and ask for some help. If I end up actually having enough energy to stretch out this video, depending on what the timestamp is, I just want to let you guys know that aren't able to make it through the video, that I am asking for donations. I really need financial help to get to Mayo Clinic, and I need living expense help, and I just don't have enough money to get through what I'm going through without help. Anyway, so I'm going to look at my phone a lot because I'm so tired I can't just recite things like I normally do, and there's a lot going on. I just want to kind of give you guys a back history of what happened, and where I'm headed now. Try to do it as quickly as possible. I had slipping rib syndrome surgery on the right side last year. I had to go back for a correction on the right side as I'm still having issues with it, and the surgeon invented a new surgical method to repair it. I'm then going to go to the left side and get that repaired as well because those are still broken. But he won't see me until after I get the other major surgeries that I need, because when I go get these surgeries, they're going to injure my ribs during the process due to having connective tissue disorder and hypermobile ribs. So he said, I'm not going to let them ruin my work. Instead, go get your surgeries done, let them mess you up a little bit, and then I'll fix it. I've heard the same thing from an abdominal surgeon. He said the same thing with my ribs. He's like, go get your ribs fixed, and then when your abdomen gets torn, come see me, and then I'll fix it up. So it's like common practice. So I gotta, pick my poison, basically. So I'll get into that in a minute. I hired a patient advocate to help me. She's around, but everything's really complicated. So she's, just in the background and will help if I get hospitalized or something like that. My situation's very, very complex and difficult to manage. But I do have a patient advocate, and it's very expensive. So that's where a lot of my money has gone. I traveled to see a geneticist, and she's a world-leading geneticist. She diagnosed me with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, depending on where you are in the world, depending how you want to pronounce it. Since I got diagnosed with that, she said it's either inherited or acquired, which implies it could be from an infection or epigenetics, or it's genetic. That's what it means. And it's great to hear a specialist confirm what I had been thinking for years and years, and everybody in these EDS support groups have been saying the opposite of. If you look at research articles, Lyme disease and other infections can affect connective tissue. And I was also diagnosed with inborn errors of metabolism, which is where my body will not process proteins, which means my body will cause connective tissue disorders from that condition alone. We have to evaluate that further at some point, but as of right now, we've got bigger things to worry about, but we will work on it. So since I got diagnosed with EDS, I talked to her about my neck. There's a vertebrae that sticks out off to the side. I actually had a BMX injury years ago. That's why I actually saw the chiropractor that I got injured from. This vertebrae would keep popping out, and I'd go in and get adjusted, and my mood would get better, my energy would get better, everything would get better. But on the downside, since I have EDS, constantly manipulating my body over and over and over, which is very likely very dangerous. And then we did this massage thing, which put me under, leading to the injury that I have today and affecting my life. So I have this vertebrae. It's C4 sitting on C5. We suspected cervical instability. Based on the symptoms that I have, it still makes me wonder if I have some sort of cervical instability, but I'm not entirely sure. I got fitted for a neck collar, by the way. I wear the neck collar every once in a while, and it does help. I noticed if I put pressure on the back of my head, my vision comes back. I can think more clearly. I have a little bit more energy, so there is something going on. But also the sleep deprivation, since I'm sleeping sitting up, I'm unable to lay back on the back of my head and relax my nerves and muscles in my head. So the collar could be helping with that as well. It's probably a bit of both. It's complicated. And obviously C4 sitting on C5 while popped out is going to cause issues regardless of whether it's cervical instability or not. But to be honest with you, that to me is a type of cervical instability. Let's see where else. So I took a Lyme disease test through IGeneX. It showed that I have a band, but it showed that I was negative for the other bands. This happened years ago when I was a child, when a Lyme disease specialist was trying to treat me as well. It's like I don't want to say for certain, but the last test I had was like indeterminate or something. But it showed that I have a band, which shows that I have some sort of infection, but we're not sure which one. And I guess the majority of the population, according to the doctor I talked to, said that a lot of people have that band. And so it doesn't mean I have Lyme disease. But I also did Buhner's protocol, the herbal protocol, years ago, and I herxed off my butt for a very long time. I was so exhausted and wiped out and shaking and tremoring and chills. It could have been anticoagulant properties, or it could have been a Herxheimer from removing Lyme disease from my body. I don't know for certain, but anyway, regardless, it shows that I do have a marker for something. So with that being said, I want to get a Bartonella test next. I've had the severe leg pain, I've had these gut issues, I've had the mood swing issues that are not related to any psychiatric or anything like that regarding, it's hard to explain. I'm able to tell, I don't know how to explain it. I just know, I know. From the depths of my soul, all the symptoms that I've had match up with an infection. I just need to figure out which one. But the downside is the Lyme disease test from IGeneX cost me about $250, and the Bartonella test cost $600. So any of you that have made it this far through the video, please know that I am spending a ton of money on this stuff trying to figure things out. It's a big issue. I might do a short video explaining this as well for anybody that doesn't have the time. Maybe I'll do that if I have the energy after this. I'm surprised to have gotten this far, to be honest. So if anybody can give me any fairly decent donations, that would be great. I would like to mention that my father is in a hobby group, and he shared my GoFundMe in there, and we got over 100 donations within 3 days, and I raised $3,000. So I'm close. I set my goal to $5,000, but there are additional tests that I would like to get done, and it's going to be very difficult to do without this additional help from you guys, as the group there that donated and got me to 3,000 has kind of reached its peak and has worn down. We'll see if anybody donates monthly or not. I'm not sure, but I really do need your guys' help if you can, please. And if you're able to donate monthly, that would be great too. This is not going away right away. So what's next is the question. I'm trying to work on a dynamic ultrasound. A dynamic ultrasound shows a better view compared to a traditional ultrasound. Some studies are showing that ultrasounds are better at showing soft tissue injuries versus CT and MRI, which may sound confusing to a lot of you, especially some of you that are physicians. But if you look into the PubMed articles, you'll see that they are using it to look at soft tissue injuries. And it really depends on the radiologist that looks at these scans. I saw some, if you look it up, there are some sports medicine specialists that are really good at looking for abdominal and other type of muscle injuries and core injuries. But they're so small and so intricate that most people miss them. But these guys are so specialized that they find it. So the issue that I'm having is finding somebody specialized enough to find the injury that is affecting me, but I have a feeling once they find it, it's going to be one of those rush me into surgery type of situations. There's a nurse I met, her husband was injured from a car accident, and they sent him home, said he was fine. She said, no, something's still off, he's having trouble breathing, something's still not right. you're going back to the hospital. She brought him to the hospital and they said, we're not going to do anything, nothing's wrong. He's fine. And she said, I'm a nurse, here's my license, I know what I'm talking about. This is a woman that does research on her own, really thinks for herself, asks questions, really advocates. And so she said, you're going to get him an ultrasound. They wouldn't. They got him in a CT scan instead. Next thing we know, she hears a team of doctors screaming, get everybody in here, only men only, get somebody in here. I'm not going to mention her name, but her story is incredible. All these doctors ran in, rushed into surgery immediately. There was a nerve this close from a vertebrae that would have paralyzed and killed him. And all the doctors said he was fine, except, it gives me chills thinking about, all the doctors said he was going to be fine, and that there was nothing wrong, until she stood up and said, no, something is wrong, you're going to listen to me and save my husband's life. I have a feeling something like that is going to happen to me as well. If anybody understood how ill my health is, I would not be struggling as badly. But the system is very flawed, complicated, and we're sinful in nature, so I guess it's to be expected. Let's see. So the dynamic ultrasound is going to give a broader view and a more accurate view of my body, and the EDS specialist wants me to do it in various positions, including Valsalva, and see if we can find any organ misplacement and organ issues. It's the best route as far as I can tell. Like I talked to a surgeon, I'm getting tired. Talked to a surgeon about how we take these CT scans and they're stationary images. And yeah, we've got the sagittal plane and all these other views. But at the end of the day, your body's not moving in different positions to show organ movement. If you look at a live MRI, a genuine live MRI, the diaphragm is moving up and down, the organs are moving up and down, everything is moving constantly. I tried to request one of those, a dynamic MRI. If any of you are interested in the medical side, you should look those up. Those are pretty interesting. I'm trying to kind of keep my eyes off that stuff for a while. It's a little bit hard to look at, but it's really incredible. But when you look at those, you'll notice that the body moves a lot. And so this dynamic ultrasound would be us looking live with a broader view and a more accurate view while in these different positions, trying to figure out what's going on with the injury. An ultrasound actually is what diagnosed the median arcuate ligament syndrome, and I also requested a dynamic ultrasound of my rib cage, which diagnosed, lo and behold, the broken ribs that everybody told me weren't broken. If you noticed in the beginning of my videos a couple of years ago, I said I think I tore my rib cage, something's wrong. And I kept thinking about it and eventually realized it was slipping rib syndrome and got that ultrasound. Lo and behold, my ribs were broken and I got surgery months later. And now I need to go to the other side as well. It hurts pretty bad sometimes. I feel bad for anybody that has SRS. If you do, I am so sorry. It hurts really bad. Just keep trekking through and go see Dr. H. He will fix you up the best he can. And anybody else that is studying under him will be able to help, but I trust him the most. He genuinely tries to do his best. Even if it's not perfect, he's doing what he can, and he's constantly trying to learn something new every time. So just, yeah. So I need to see a heart doctor. Once I get to 20 minutes, nobody's going to watch this video. So I need to see a heart doctor and get my heart tested. We're going to do a dobutamine injection and speed up my heart and see how my heart's doing. I had a test showing stage 3 heart failure, and then out of the blue, I just all of a sudden don't have heart failure, even though I'm still having all the same heart issues with the blood pressure and the inability to sleep deeply and the injury affecting my heart. So it doesn't make much sense, other than my heart has temporarily strengthened itself to fight the condition. And since I'm young, my body is just strong in that regards. Well, I could be wrong. So I'm researching and trying herbs for akathisia, and on top of it I'm working with a psychiatrist. The akathisia is very severe. I keep becoming hospitalized because of it. I don't want to go into too much detail. It's the most painful and excruciating condition on the planet. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. I'm also planning on doing a neurotransmitters test if I get enough money past my goal for at least the surgery. The neurotransmitters test will help me determine how high of fight or flight my body is in. I did a cortisol test and it shows that my cortisol is basically as high as it will go, and when I'm sleeping it's as low as it will go, which is showing severe exhaustion, severe fight or flight during the day, and then my body is just crashed when it's trying to sleep. I would like to see where my neurotransmitters are at in that process as well. That should check for epinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine, GABA, etc. And I'd really like to know what's going on with that. If I can prove that I'm in fight or flight, maybe people will take me more seriously. So if you're willing to donate to help me afford that, that would be great. I'm trying to remember how much the test costs. It's a couple $100. Everything's just always a few $100s more. It's crazy. But basically, if I can show that I'm in fight or flight, it shows I'm injured. That's the goal. And the cortisol test showed the same thing. I'm in fight or flight because I'm injured. If I have more data to prove it, the more truth I have to back up my life. From there, I'm going to consult Mayo Clinic and get evaluated for my abdomen, Mall's median arcuate ligament syndrome, and look for the GI injury. Since I haven't found anybody to do a dynamic ultrasound locally yet, my patient advocate actually helped me reach out to U of M and all these other places in the state, and nobody's able to do the ultrasounds. I found a sonographer teacher. He let me reach out to 15 years of his students. 15 years of students. None of them responded with the ability to do this ultrasound. So I got to travel, I have a feeling. But there is a chance that somebody locally might be able to do this. But regardless, they saw the slipped ribs and assumed it was just a muscle. I knew right away that it was my ribs. So if they do see something, they're not going to know what to do with it. But as long as I can find it, that's a good first step. So I'm going to try locally to do that and then go to Mayo Clinic. I priced out roughly $5,000 to get to Mayo Clinic because I need to see a nurse. I need 2 nurses to come with me due to my ill health and the akathisia because it's so poor. I won't go into too much detail, but if anybody is aware of what akathisia is, you'll understand why I need nurses to come with me. And plus I'm so exhausted I collapse from exhaustion. Thankfully I've been fairly strong and it hasn't been too bad as long as I rest. It's the hospitalizations that really wear me out the most, to be honest with you. I struggle to keep my weight up because of the pain, the malls, and the injury. But I'm doing my best, and additional money helps me buy like pumpkin seeds and stuff like that, which are kind of expensive and it adds up. Everything I eat is close to organic or just, expensive because I have so many allergies and inborn error of metabolism, so that makes things difficult. One syndrome alone makes it hard to eat. Slipping rib syndrome causes GI issues. Median arcuate ligament syndrome causes starvation and pain. Nutcracker syndrome causes hunger and pain. And this injury alone has me literally on the floor in pain. So trying to keep my weight up is very difficult. But I have it up a little bit. I'd like to gain some more weight if there's a way, Lord willing. With that being said, since I'm going to go to Mayo Clinic and consult them for these injuries, there is a chance I may decide to get Mall's surgery. But my EDS specialist, which I'm agreeing with her as of right now, I've thought the same thing, that it might be too risky to do the surgery because something else is going on and it's far greater of an issue. Mall surgery is a very major surgery. It's not something to be taken lightly, and it can be very life-altering for a lot of people, and it depends on the surgeon you get. Some people have been permanently injured because of the surgery, whereas others have gotten their lives back. But malls does not kill somebody unless it starves them. So I have something else going on. This is likely some form of visceroptosis or some sort of connective tissue injury in some way. There's no way it's just malls. No way. Absolutely not. No way. I've never met anybody like this. I've never met anybody that's bedridden from sleep deprivation and exhaustion like this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Something else is going on. But a lot of people that I've met that have moles, I've told you guys this before numerous times, they find organ issues once they get in there, collapsed organs and other issues. Moles does restrict blood flow, and that can cause problems. So I'm very concerned and scared about getting mole surgery. If any of you have any of these health conditions, even just one of them, I am literally on my knees praying for you guys, because these conditions are so horrible. Pain is pain, and I am so sorry that you have to go through it. So if any of you are suffering with even just one of these, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't take the pain away. Just keep advocating for yourself and find an advocate if you need to. And keep speaking the truth. Bring the facts with you. Keep fighting. Look for the best of the best to deal with these conditions. These are things you do not want to take lightly. And if you're a family member of somebody with these conditions, rest as much as you can and take care of them as much as you can. Research as much as you can and believe them to the best of your ability. You will never understand how much pain they're in, but you need to at least try. That's all I have to say. Love them. Love them. Please love them. May the Holy Spirit help you love them. Maybe one day I'll make a video about akathisia. I just don't know when. I wish Jordan Peterson would speak up more about it. I really do. I know Michaela Peterson is, but she's not as big of an authority figure as Jordan Peterson is. There needs to be more research. It's insane that there isn't. It's absurd. I wish he would speak up more, to be honest. It's unfortunate. But he's done his best. He's got a book about it. Talked about how he was put into a coma because of it. So that's a good start. If anybody's willing to speak up about it, please do. Please do. "23 minutes. I think I got all of it. So basically, I've got one surgery done. Need to go back for another surgery. So I need to go back for a correction surgery. I need to go after that. This is probably a year or two later if I survive this. So right rib cage reconstruction, left rib cage repair with the new surgical method that the surgeon invented. Likely Malls and Nutcracker syndrome surgery. Whatever injury I have, surgery. So I'm looking at least 4 surgeries coming up here. Maybe an abdominal surgery, so maybe 5. Lord willing, we can cut these down. It's possible that if I go in for this major injury surgery, if they find it, that they'll be able to address the other ones while they're in there. It would be real easy for them to do. But we have to find the elephant in the room and resolve it before it wipes me out. And please keep praying for me. The akathisia is very bad. It's very bad. I'm glad I had the energy to talk to you guys. I sped through it as quickly as possible at 25 minutes. Please donate. There's a link in the description. Please, please, please donate. I really need the financial aid. I really do. All my bills are adding up. My health insurance alone to get me out of state for surgery is taking up most of my check. My disability. And plus patient advocacy and everything else. It all adds up so fast. It's crazy. Medical is very, very expensive. So please donate, and if you're able to, monthly as well. And always, please pray for me. God help me. It's good to see you guys. I miss this stuff. I really do. I love sitting down making YouTube videos. I've made some mistakes in the past with my videos, some inaccuracy, thanks to the new age, but since I came to Christ, He showed me my mistakes, and I'm forgiven for, so that's great. But I miss this stuff at times. It hurts. It's so relaxing, and the research isn't relaxing, but the editing and the recording, that stuff's fun. I miss it. I miss my family more, though. Trying my best. It's good to see you guys. I'm around. Stay motivated, you urban survivors. Jesus is coming back. Praise God. We're going home soon. Don't know when, but the signs are showing. That's as far as I know. I wish I had more time and energy to get into it. But sounds like we're going home soon. One way or the other. We're going to the kingdom. If you don't know about that yet, ask God for wisdom on it. Ask Him to know Him. I promise you He'll show you, as long as you humble yourself. Jesus is Lord. We win. Some of you will understand, and some of you will be praising with me. I love you guys so much. Bye. God bless you.